Hello and welcome to Island House Handmade. I'm Renee, and today at the Island House we're going to be making handmade soap. This is my favorite soap I've been making for over 5 years, and it's a simple 4-ingredient soap that you can make at home. This is olive oil, coconut oil, distilled water, and lye. Those are the 4 simple ingredients that you'll need. I'm going to explain to you how to make it step by step, but some of the basics that you need is a long sleeve shirt. You need to wear gloves while you're making this. You need to be in a well ventilated area. You're going to need something to cut the soap with. I use this crinkle cutter for cheese. You could use a kitchen knife. Something to stir the lye with. I use these outdoor sticks for shish kebabs. You could use chopsticks. You have to have your goggles on when you're mixing the lye. So here's my goggles. You'll need these. You need a thermometer to measure the temperature of the lye so that you'll know when it's ready. You will need some mixing bowls and a spatula. I have this little spatula from Dollar Tree. I use it to scrape out all the extra at the end to make sure I get every little bit of soap. You will need these mixing bowls with the spout that I found at Dollar Tree, as well as this nice big bucket for what we're going to make. It'll fit, it won't splash out. This is from Dollar Tree as well. You're also going to need a scale. You have to have a scale. You have to be able to measure out the ingredients with ounces. So you can probably buy this at Dollar Tree, and these are not expensive, maybe between $5 and $10. You're also going to need a separate bucket, just an empty coffee jar, whatever, clean it out. I just use this specifically to measure out my lye so that I know that it's not in any other area of the house, and then I put this away in a Tupperware bin in my craft room. Okay, you're going to need a stick blender. This is very important. This stick blender I only use for my crafts, for my soap making. I don't use it in my house to make cakes. So it is a little bit of an investment, but I would recommend you need to have a stick blender for this. You could try mixing it with a spoon. It will take you a long time, or maybe you could use a hand mixer, okay? Now, you're gonna need molds, and I'm gonna show you my top mold that I like to use. If you're a beginner and you don't wanna invest in all of these items, I would suggest you go to Dollar Tree. You could also use little trays that they might sell there to pour the soap mixture in. All you wanna do is, if you use something from Dollar Tree and it's not silicone, it won't peel away from the soap when the soap is hard. You need to line it with a plastic bag so that when the soap cures, you can pull it out and this will peel off. So if you want to use a box, you just need to line the box up and over everywhere, all the sides, and then you could pour the soap right in. So you could save a little money that way. You don't want the box to be huge. You know, your bars of soap are going to be only 2 inches tall, and then you want to cut them and use a bar of soap that you have in your house as a template. So that's the easy way. Now, what I'm going to show you is the best find at Hobby Lobby. The batch of soap is going to make approximately 35 bars of 1 inch by 2 inch soap, okay? So I found this mold at Hobby Lobby recently. It's only $8.99. I calculated when I made the last batch of soap from this mold, and these are what my soaps look like, okay? I got 10. So you would need 3 of these to make 30 bars of soap. I think that's a well worth investment, and that would be my top pick for a beginner making this soap at home. I have to show you, this is the cutest little soap box. It comes in this nice wooden box. It's got your silicone mold that fits right in, and it has a cute little cover. If I was making soap from the beginning, this is what I would use. I would go straight to Hobby Lobby and I would buy 3. If you can afford it, buy 4, and I think the whole batch will fit neatly right in here. So that's my top recommendation. I've advanced from the box a little bit. After I started the soap making process, my dad made me these nice soap molds, and it was from wood that I had in the basement. So, you know, I kind of measured out, I wanted the bar to be 2 inches wide, and then I wanted to be able to cut them in 1 inch. So I just kind of followed what a bar of soap looks like from the package. And then my dad went ahead and made these molds for me. They're heavy, they work great. However, you need to line these with wax paper so that you can pull them out of the wooden mold and then peel off the wax paper so that you can cut the bars of soap when they're done. Now you could also, we left screws on this side, so part of the idea was after it was cured overnight, we would take this end off and just pull it out. So that was another idea, and I still use these, but I've advanced slightly, and I'm gonna show you how I've done that. And over the years, I've gone on a website called Wholesale Supplies Plus. That's where I buy all my soap making and cosmetic making supplies. So I have these farmhouse molds that I absolutely love. It's the perfect size soap. It's square, it's beautiful, it has these little ridges in it. I love these. These are what I invested in, and I'm so happy that I did. I also bought these little sunflower molds, which I love. Now this is just over the 5 years that I've been making the soap. So like I said, if you just want a basic soap for your home, like I do, I use this soap every single day and I absolutely love it. I actually can't live without it. Now I also bought the farmhouse molds in this little small size. This is because when I fill these molds and there's still batter left in the soap batter, these are just enough to make like 4 or 6, there's 8 here, but it uses all the extra soap up because sometimes you have extra and it won't fill a whole bar, but it'll fill these cute little ones. And these are great if somebody sleeps over and you just want to give them a little bar of soap for the next morning, and you can keep these on your bathroom sink, and they're just cute little farmhouse guest soaps, okay? So there is going to be one little fun little splashy soap thing that I make today, and I bought this little whale silicone mold, and it's absolutely adorable. I love it. I'm going on a cruise in May, so I need to fill these up. These are going to be little whale soaps, and I'm giving them to the girls when we get to the airport for their cabin, because you do get soap when you get to the cruise, but you run out halfway through, and this olive oil soap is so moisturizing and just incredible for your skin, and especially when you've been out on the sun. So I can't wait for my little whale soaps as part of their little gift. So today is a little partial soap making for home here and for gift giving. And I actually love making soap for gift giving, and I've done it for years. And I made it for my team when I worked in the city in my sample room, and it was a great gift that they loved. And I give it every Christmas as gifts, and my family loves it, and now my family wants to make it. So this video is dedicated to my cousin Maria, who is dying to learn how to make the soap. And I think if I explain it properly, she will be successful at making the soap. So good luck, Maria. Save yourself approximately 2 hours to make this soap, because the lye portion of the recipe is going to take the lye to cool down, and from my experience it takes at least an hour, and you need about an hour of prep and organizing and getting yourself together and getting, you know, your mixing bowls and everything that you want to do. And also, before you even start, at the end of the video, in the description, I'm going to put the recipe that I have here. If you only want to try making soap and you want to just make, you know, buy 2 of these, I think you could cut the recipe in half, exactly in half. Just cut the whole thing right down the middle, and you should be able to get 20 bars of soap, 10 in each box, okay? And at Dollar Tree, there might be like a little kitchen drawer tray that you can pick up for $1. Now for $9, I mean, I just think these silicones are just worth it, the way to go. But if you just do it on the cheap, you do have to line it with something. So line it with a, you know, if it's not silicone, you need to line it with a plastic bag or wax paper. Okay guys, I wanted to show you my setup. I have the molds. Even if you're gonna use these, they're in the wooden box, and that's great. I have them in a tray lined with paper. See this tray? I'm gonna have to carry these out of the kitchen and into another room because they need to cure. So I've set up my molds really close to each other because you're gonna need to pour them in an orderly fashion, and you wanna make it very quick and have everything in the same place. So this is just my quick setup. You need to use a box or something. You need to be very organized and ready to go. All right, to get the coconut oil out of the jar, I'm just using a spoon. This is just organic coconut oil. You can eat it. It's a little bit soft-ish because it's warm in the house. To melt this, you could leave it in your car window. You really want this liquefied. It's very hard right now, but I'm able to scrape some out, and I'm microwaving it in a separate bowl. Don't put this jar in with the lid because there's metal on the back of it, so don't do that. Put it in a different bowl. Because this is 54 ounces, I'm cutting it in half, so I'm starting with at least half this jar to see, because I need 29 fluid ounces of coconut oil. In the meantime, we are gonna fill this bucket with the oils. So I melted it down and I measured out 29 ounces of coconut oil melted. Put that aside, very close. Now we need 51 ounces of olive oil. So we're gonna start with this bottle. This is 33.8. We'll finish off the small 33-ounce bottle with something from the big one. And I have my scale under it, so I know what I'm doing now. I need 51 ounces. I'm at 30. All right, exactly 51. So, to the 51 ounces of olive oil, we are going to include the 29 ounces of the melted coconut oil. And that's your oil base. And those are just happily ever after in the bin. Okay, I like to get every last drop, as you know. All right, now there's our oils. We will set these aside. And we have to calculate our distilled water, which we can put in here. So what you need to do to use the scale is you zero it off. Okay, it's 0. Then you put the bowl on. The bowl is 4.5 ounces. Then you need to zero the scale out to 0. Now it's 0, so it took away the measurement of the bowl. Now you can put your distilled water in. 29.5 ounces of distilled water. Go slow towards the end because you want the measurement to be exactly what the recipe is calling for. One more drop and we're there. I went over a slightly. I'm just gonna pour a drop out into here. Let's see. Yep, perfect. Okay, we're done with the water. Now we have to measure our lye, and this is the lye bucket. So we are going to clear out the weight of the bucket. It's just 0 off. All right, we're at 0. Now, the lye we need is 11.5 ounces. So now I'm going to put my safety goggles on. I'm going to put my gloves on. And these are my craft gloves. So I only make soap and sugar scrub and lip balm. And sometimes I make shea butter cream with these gloves. So here is our lye. I have this bottle in a Ziploc bag. That's the way I stored it. And we need 11.5 ounces. Okay, I got 10 from this because I already used it during Christmas. That's ready to be dumped, and I have a little left over on this one. And it's child-proof, and apparently it's adult-proof. Here we go. And I just need 1.5 ounce. Okay, so that's your lye. Now, you want to be in a well-ventilated area. My ceilings are very big, and I could use, I could open my front door if I needed to. So you don't want to be in a closed-off spot when you're working with this. Okay, so now we have our ingredients mixed out, and there is one important part to this recipe, is that you need to pour the lye crystals into the water. You never put the water into the lye. So remember that. So here's our distilled water in this nice bucket here. Move this out of our way. Okay? We are gonna put the lye into the water. And I like to kind of just stand back when I do this and just sprinkle it in. This is where the water gets really, really hot. Okay, and then this is where I use the stick. I like to mix it around and make sure I got the lye out of here. Okay, I'm gonna mix the lye off the bottom of this container here and get it all stirred up so that it can start the process of cooling down. So for instance, I have my thermometer here, and I'll tell you how hot it is. All right, it's 180 degrees, okay? So this has to cool down to 100 degrees. Then we can pour this lye mixture into the oils and mix it. And that's where saponification happens. When the chemical reaction is neutralized by the oils. It's called saponification. And that's how soap is made, and that's how they made soap in the old days with lye. So this is totally natural. It's not caustic after the bar soap cures into soap, and it's very interesting. We'll work on the next steps when this is down to about 100. It's going to take about an hour, so like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, leave yourself enough time. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes and I'm coming back to check. I've checked every 15 minutes to see what the temperature was. So we started at 180. It's inching over to 120. So I don't know if you could see that. So we still have a ways to go, so we'll check back in a little bit. It's time to pour the lye into the oil and begin to mix with the stick blender. I have my safety goggles on and I have my gloves, and I'm just pouring the lye mixture at 100 degrees right into the big giant bucket of oils. Okay, start by, you have to burp this. You got to get the air pocket out of the stick blender. And now you have to start mixing. This is starting to look good. You see? It's getting a little thicker. It's almost at the trace. Okay, this is when you have to start moving quickly. Now I'm gonna put my essential oil, and today I'm using lemongrass. I'm gonna use, this is 4 ounces, 2 ounces would be here. I'm just gonna go to here. I'm not gonna use a tremendous amount. Sometimes these oils accelerate the trace. So now you have to start working. Okay, I've taken some of the loose batter that I want to use before it gets too thick for my sunflowers. I want to make sure that the batter gets into all the crevices. So here, this is pouring really nicely. Beautiful, that is excellent. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fill some of these little ones because there's a little bit left in here. Actually, I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna pour them into the whales while it's still loose. There's one whale. There's 2 little whales. Oh yes. There's 3. Whoopsie. Got a little overflow. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's awesome, you guys. That's great. Go back. All right, so now this is thickening up a little as it sits, and I like to put it in the molds that are singular, and the loaf molds go last because it goes easier into the loaf molds. Okay, now you can see I've poured as many small molds as I could. I saved the 2 loaf molds till the end, and I've batched out my big bucket because it's hard to hold and manage. And the reason you have to work quickly is because it starts to set up. So as you saw in the beginning, it poured right in. You can see now it's like really getting to be like a pudding. So we're done batching out into this one. Now we're just gonna pour it into the molds, and it's gonna go really nice and smooth right into the mold. That's beautiful, guys. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, it looks like I'm only getting one out of the rest of it. Well, that's just fine. And you'll see, I want to scrape. I'm trying to scrape every last bit that I can. And that gives me a full as possible mold. What you do is just smooth it over with your tool. Okay guys, so we got 1 loaf mold. We've got 8, 9, 10 bars of the farmhouse. We've got 6 sunflowers. We have 3 little farmhouse bath soap, guest soaps. And I got 6 whale soaps. So those are a trial. I can't wait to unmold those. Now, this soap needs to set for 24 hours. Then you can unmold it and cut it. So for the soap that's in the molds, I'm not gonna take these out of the molds until a week. I want them to be very firm, because if they're not very firm, the design in the mold, it breaks it. For the loaf soap, after 24 hours, they're solid enough that you can handle, and then you cut them into bars, and you have to let them dry. And they need to dry. These soaps all need to cure for 2 months before they're hard enough to use that there will be a nice solid bar soap that you'll want to have a lasting soap. Otherwise they kind of melt away in the shower. So you definitely want to cure these. If you can cure them for 3 months, definitely do that. I'm going to write all the ingredients and the recipe in the description box. I'm going to unmold this tomorrow morning, 24 hours from now, and that'll be on the end of the video. And I'll show you how we can cut them and what they'll look like. I woke up really excited to cut the soap. It's been 24 hours and it's ready to slice into 1-inch sections that will give us 10 bars of soap from this one soap box. As you can see, this is 10 inches long, this loaf. So I'm gonna use my tape measure, and I'm just gonna use my crinkle cut, and I'm gonna do 1-inch cuts. and this will make my 1-inch bars of soap. I hope you enjoyed the video, and best of luck if you're gonna make your own soap. I'm sure you're gonna love it when it's finished. Here's a bar of my soap that I made at Christmas. It's super hard and I've been using them, and I'm gonna show you now how beautifully it lathers up and leaves your skin feeling super soft. So from my house to yours, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I inspired you to have a creative day. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.